Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Exoria. So since last episode, you'll notice that I am wearing different armor. I am wearing emerald armor. It's cheap. And it's actually better better defense than the stuff that we were wearing. It doesn't have all the nice little features, but I'm not just super draining through my mantle cartridges while wearing this. That was kind of an issue, as I noticed that with the flight. I mean, I don't know if it was the flight or some other buff or what, but I was draining through mantle cartridges relatively fast. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, fast, but it was pretty fast. So I did go ahead and change that over. And then I also did a bit of work building over in this area, just kind of sprucing stuff up. It's not done, I'm just in the process of working on this. I did have a little area here with the 2 tall Botania flowers, though we will automate mystical flowers fairly soon-ish. Botania in this pack is actually just kind of weird, because normally having Botania available at this point, I'd be all over it, but so much of Botania is removed from this pack because they went with the infinite mana method that Botania kind of falls into a really weird place within this pack, to where a lot of the functional flora are gone. Most of the generating flora, I mean, you don't have any use for generating flora because you have infinite mana. So I don't know, it just kind of is in a weird spot. But I did set those up, and then back over here I have worked on this farm area. Right there is where our wheat farm used to be, or where it still is, but our automatic wheat farm. And then I have wheat kind of runs up through the center here, and then I have carrots that kind of are planted out around through this area. So these carrots are all just decorative. And then over here I have an automated carrot farm. And I've got carrots. I guess I can't plant carrots there. I meant to plant wheat there. I'll have to change that over. I was doing carrots, and then this used to have a fence here, and then I was like, well, I don't like that, so I brought it out, and then I guess I just kept on planting carrots there. It's supposed to be wheat, so I'll change that. But anyways, over here I have set up. This is just an automated farm. It's a carrot farm. It farms carrots, and it deposits them into this ender chest. You can see it hasn't been running a super long time so far. And this is all set up pretty much the same. I did make some adjustments. I have our ender chest with fertilizer and dirt feeding in through hoppers into here, and I have them the same over there at our tree farm. And then the items get pulled out. They go into here. Carrots go into there. Sand goes into there. And then the carrots go back into this at a higher priority than here. So, and it's pretty much identical to the way we did the wood farm. And here's the wood farm area that's been updated. So, I mean, it's so backed up right now with wood. And we're backed up on planks. We're backed up in here with stuff. So if you take a look right there, lots of planks. Sawdust isn't going anywhere because the planks aren't going anywhere, but that's fine. And then over here, I've got a chest with carrots that we're going to be using a little bit later on for making fruit juice. And then over here, I've started setting up a peat bog. And directly underneath this is just a power cell that's just wirelessly plugging up our power. And then right here, fertilizer is being fed in, and then we're going to have to set up a little bit of automation to get this going. But this is going to be for farming peat, which we'll use, as another power source, another green-based power source. But before we do that, I got to looking, and the Transprot mod is in the pack. And basically it just adds the dispatcher, the linker, and then 4 upgrades. And this is actually a mod I've never actually played with, but I was playing around with it in a test world, and I was like, ooh, I like this. It was actually kind of nifty. So we're going to be getting into that today. And there's actually a quest for it. That's where it first came to my attention. There is a quest. It's right in here is where the quest is. I saw it in my test world. So we're going to go ahead and just complete a couple quests here. First up, make Lumium and make Signalum to finish the alloy quest. Then the item duck quest, we've pretty much already finished that because we've done all the ducks before. So let's take a look at Lumium first. So Lumium, we are going to make this in the induction smelter. And we're going to need to make ourselves some Lumium Blend, which is 3 tin dust, silver dust, and energized glowstone. Okay. So let's go ahead. Glowstone is, 250 millibuckets for the glowstone. So I'm going to go ahead and get let's go ahead and get 4 batches of this. And let's pop over to the turret workshop. And we'll get the stuff being broken down. We'll pop in. Oh yeah, I've got some Invar being made. We'll pop the silver into the pulverizer. And I never upgraded this thing, did I? No, I did not. I'll have to do that to speed that up. And then our magma crucible, we'll toss in our glowstone and get that stuff smelting down. And let's get ourselves 4 buckets. And we'll just toss it into there so that can make our buckets of glowstone. And then we'll get our 10 running. And I guess I don't need all this. I went and farmed up a bit more obsidian. And I don't need these. I don't even know why I have ash blocks. I guess I got them whenever I was farming that obsidian. I guess. Okay, while that stuff's running, let's go ahead and take a look at the signalum. And we're also going to need some sand, because we're going to have to run that through the induction smelter. So we'll grab a stack of that. The signalum, we're going to need to make a signalum blend as well. Destabilized redstone, that is 100 millibuckets per redstone. Silver, and then 3 copper for that. And I'll make 4 batches of that as well. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and make an auxiliary reception coil, because this thing is... the magma crucible is pretty slow. I'm not going to worry about it for the fluid transposer, because I mean it fills the buckets really fast. It's just actually melting the stuff down is super, super slow. So we need to speed that up, because I've got to process some redstone, and it's way too slow. So there we go, and we'll dump this into there. Okay, and our glowstone is now done, which actually just finished. And then we're going to get this stuff going. And I'm going to run 4 blocks, then 4 singles, just because it's... I don't know that it's much faster, necessarily. I think it's a little bit faster when you run the blocks, instead of just all singles, but... anyways, our glowstone is done. Let's go ahead and we're going to get our aluminum blend. So there we go. And we don't really need this at the moment. Like, they've got us making it, but I don't guess I have any particular need right this second for it. Nothing that comes to mind anyways. Because the quest that comes from it, actually you don't need any of this stuff. But we'll go with it anyways. And then we're going to get our 4 buckets of destabilized redstone. And this block is just about to finish up. Then we can see the speed of single pieces of redstone now. See, it's a little bit faster with the auxiliary reception coil. And there we go. There's the last bucket of that. And we'll get our signalum blend, which we also don't have any pressing need for this. I just want to get the quest out of the way. And we'll have it available, because I'm sure we'll end up using it before too long, but right now, I don't necessarily need it. And we're going to start producing some slag as well, which is good. We can start making concrete, asphalt concrete. Of course, we could also do that if we made an arc furnace from immersive engineering, but... And then, of course, there's Phyto-Grow, which we will probably end up getting into Phyto-Grow a little bit at some point. So, anyways, there's our signalum, and quest complete. Even more alloying. Okay. And now we have a quest. We actually opened up a few quests here. Industrial machines. They want us to make tree fluid extractor, latex processing unit, and start producing plastic so that we can start getting into industrial foregoing. We will get into that before too long. There's also actually additions. That's Tesla-powered stuff. But what I want to do right now is ducktails. We need to make leadstone flux duct, item duct, and fluid duct, which I've actually got the leadstone flux ducts and the item ducts on me, because we're going to need that stuff here soon. But I believe we actually have some fluid ducts. I was thinking that we had some, but I guess not. Let me grab a piece of this hardened glass. I don't necessarily need a bunch of the fluid ducts right now. We might eventually need some more of these, but not right this second. And then a little bit of copper, our hardened glass, and there's our fluid duct. And quest complete. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, we have a quest here for long distance transfer. That is what I want. So we have to craft a dispatcher, and then they're going to give us a linker, which is basically your tool for this mod. So let's go ahead and take a look here. The dispatcher, we're going to need an ender pearl, gold plate, 3 iron plates, and then 2 item ducts for this. And I'm actually going to go ahead and make a couple of these, because they're quite useful. I don't know that we'll use them all right this second, but it'll be nice to have them available to us. And they're basically like wireless item transfer. Now, they don't actually transfer all that far, but that's okay. We're not going to be using them for like long distance transfer. We're going to use them for item control because they are actually very, very good at that. For like item limiting, which is what I want them for. Now, there's also, if you take a look at the it's Transprot mod. It's spelled like that. There's also these upgrade kits, and basically these upgrade item transfer speed. Because by default, it is a very, very slow item transfer system. So we're going to go ahead and craft some of these because they're actually super, super cheap. So let's pop over. It's one of those things we might as well craft them because why not? Might have to get some powered lanterns up and going. I don't think there's any kind of like magnum, no magnum torch or anything. I know there's a couple ways within the pack to prevent mob spawns nearby, but I think the only one available to us at the moment is powered lanterns. So we'll probably have to get into those because these mobs are not actually, they're not affected by lighting. So I mean, it can be completely lit up, but it's not really going to matter to them. So we're going to have to do something about that. Alright, so we're going to need redstone, iron, and gold nuggets. And I don't know for sure if we're going to be able to use gold ore berries. Because I've started noticing times here recently where we can't use gold ore berries. But we're going to have to use actual gold nuggets. Well, that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves some Mark 1 upgrades. There's 30 of them. Oh, wait, they don't stack. Okay. That's not good. Let me toss this stuff down. I'm going to dump that stuff into the system. There we go. To upgrade these, we need just gold ingots. So let me pop up. Well, actually, these are done. Let's go ahead and grab those, and let's make our dispatchers. So 5 of those, and those do stack. And dump that into there. Okay, and we completed this quest. Let's go ahead and get our linker tool. And that ends that quest line there. Okay, so there's our tool. Alright, let me pop over. Let me go get some gold. And then we're going to start just compacting these. I may end up sticking these into like a crafting workstation. Just to make this a little bit easier. If we find that we're using these a lot. Which we might end up using these quite a bit. We'll see. Okay, and then we need to upgrade to the Mark III, which is Diamond. And then we're going to upgrade to the Mark IV, which is Emerald. Now, honestly, this is probably a little bit overkill at this point. I could probably just go with like a 2. And that would probably be fine. But I'm going to go ahead and just upgrade these a bit. I may stop at Mark III, honestly. Okay, there we go. So we've got 3 Mark IVs, a Mark III, and a Mark II. And then I've got 5 dispatchers, so that'll be fine. We'll use a variety of them as we move forward. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've actually got some ender chests here. Okay, so I've got in here, I've got orange as carrots. I did OR because it didn't actually fit, it cut off. And then black is Bogarth, which we actually haven't set that up yet. We're going to be setting that up here in just a minute. And black, white is going to be the peat line. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually start crafting peat, or Bogarth is what I want to craft. So this right here, and it does require, we can craft them. We actually looked at this before with the water cans and the Bogarth. Or there is the mulch with the dirt and sand that we can craft. Then with 1,000 millibuckets of water. And as far as which route we're going to take, give me just a second. Let me think about this. Because I don't know if I want to go with like a water can and run it through the bottler, but then I have another machine that I've got to run it through and pipe it through. Or if I just want to have a carpenter set up that takes all this stuff. Because we're going to be making mulch anyways. So I'm thinking we might as well just go with the carpenter method. Okay, I tell you what, we're going to go with the carpenter method. I think is what we're going to go with. So I am going to have to craft a couple things here. I'm going to need a carpenter to actually craft the Bogarth. And then I'm going to need to start making mulch, which we're going to be using the squeezer to produce the mulch. Because I also want to produce fruit juice. We're also later going to be using the squeezer to make seed oil. Not right this second, but we will be. But I want to start producing mulch and fruit juice. So let's take a look here. The squeezer, which we haven't made one of these yet. We've actually got a quest before making one under power up, and I said we'd get into it. Squeezer and moistener. We actually haven't been making any apiaries, but we will be back making apiaries and using seed oil, so we're going to need it for the intended purpose before long. But for right now, I want to make mulch and fruit juice. So we're going to need a sturdy casing for that, and then I'm pretty sure we also need a sturdy casing for the carpenter. Correct? Yes, we do. Alright, so there is our carpenter. And then we also need the squeezer, which is tin and glass. And there's our squeezer. Great. Okay, so let's pop over. I'm also probably going to make a power cell. Well, no, we've actually got a power cell set up over here. Never mind. Alright, so we're going to set up our squeezer setting. Well, let's see. Let's have the squeezer setting. This one's going to be handling just carrots. So we're going to set it right over here. And I'm going to run the power first. And I did make up a bunch more power cables for us. And I'm just going to take it right down along to there. We'll set up the squeezer setting right there. And yeah, I'm going to have to facade that. That's fine. I've got a facade over here too, which is dirt bricks. And then we're going to set up just some item ducts that run the carrots over to the squeezer. And we'll just put a servo right there and say, ignore redstone. So it's going to start pumping the carrots over to our squeezer. And they're going to come in here and they're going to start squeezing down and making fruit juice as well as mulch. It's only like a 20% chance to make mulch. Let's see, carrots. Yeah, 20% chance to make mulch. But we've already got some mulch. We got 2 pieces so far. Great. Great stuff. And then we're going to have to start pulling this fruit juice out and sending it somewhere. So let me go make an ender chest, or 2 ender chests. Or ender tanks, I'm sorry, not ender chests. I can't remember, did I set up this other tank over here or not? Okay, I did. So let me pop back over to the storage center. Let me make up 2 ender chests, or ender tanks. The one tank that I was originally going to use for acid, we will still have one for acid, but I'm going to go ahead and use that one for fruit juice for right now. Because I haven't been pumping acid as of yet, and it's just sitting there empty at the moment, so might as well. Yeah, we're probably going to do a Botania setup here soon for automating all the mystical flowers, all the dyes, and all that stuff, so that we have it available. But anyways, right up here, we're going to go green, white, white, and let's add this to our clipboard. Wrong clipboard. I need to actually name these in the anvil. If I named the top there, the title, it would stay, you know, the clipboard would display it, but only on the page that it's set to. So, we're going to say fruit juice in. And we're going to say it's green, white, white. And actually, I tell you what, I'm going to set up the tank like right here. And we'll do that. Since I can't auto output with this, and then we'll just do a fluid duct setting right there with a servo on it. And it's going to start filling that up with fruit juice. And emptying this tank out. Okay, so now I need to pop over to the fluid area and I need to set up the input tank. We're not actually going to be pulling the fruit juice out to go anywhere right now. But at least this way we'll have this already set up and running. And building up fruit juice and all that good stuff. And then we'll just set up our fluid intake right there. And we'll do a powered fluid output or outlet right there. And then we'll do our ender tank as per usual. And there we go. It's going to start draining. Okay, so that is set up. And if we take a look here, we've got 15,000 millibuckets of fruit juice and counting going into this pressure tank. And then let's just pop over. Let's just pop back over here. And for right now, the only thing I'm going to use mulch for is making our bog earth. Now, there are other uses for it, though, that we will probably end up getting into maybe in the future, like biomass. We'll see. But we may start using biomass and then producing ethanol with it. But for right now, the only thing I want mulch for, and honestly, long term, it may just be this one squeezer that is used for making the bog earth, and then maybe have another squeezer set up that's actually producing stuff for biomass. We'll see. But for right now, this squeezer, I'm not going to actually have the mulch pumped out into a drawer system. Because I don't have any crafting purposes for it. It's mainly just for this automation system. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a carpenter then. It's going to be setting like right... we'll have the carpenter setting right here. That'll be good. And then we'll just bring our power up to there. And our carpenter... There we go. And I'm going to set up a recipe here. Let's grab a little bit of this mulch. And we're going to put that in the center. And then it's also going to need a fluid line, so I'm going to have to make one more ender tank. Yeah, I don't have any water tanks over here. But then we also need the dirt and the sand, which I was thinking I had a dirt chest over here. I do not. So our dirt line is white, light blue, white. Okay, so let me go get a piece of light blue dye. And I'm just going to pull the sand and the dirt from the chest in the room. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a dispatcher. The first dispatcher we're going to set on the squeezer. And what we're going to do is we are going to first open this up. And we're going to say, it should only pull out the mulch because that's the only item in here. So we don't have to worry about actually setting, like a whitelist here. But we're going to go ahead and apply one of our upgrades. I'm going to go with like an upgrade Mark II because it's not going all that far. It's just going over to here. And it only needs one mulch per craft. So it should be good with a Mark II. More than good, honestly. And actually, let's actually set this up with a whitelist. We're going to say, whoops. I don't know why it does that. Anyways, we're going to set this to 64. Okay, and what that does is it's going to keep 64 in our carpenter for us. And then we are going to, nearest first, we're going to set this to a white list. And the rest of this can stay the same. And then we're just going to shift right click with our linking tool. It's going to say bound to dispatcher and then right click, or shift right click our carpenter. Okay, so you can see the mulch is actually traveling over. It's kind of cool because it actually shows the mulch being pushed over. And here in a second it's going to fill up with 64. Oh, it's actually crafting some right now. That's why. But after it hits 64, it should stop. It should stop sending mulch over. I need to put an upgrade into this, like a socket, at some point. And then let's go ahead and set up another dispatcher. And this one's going to be over on the sand ender chest. And let's go ahead and grab a little bit of the sand as well. And the bog earth is sand on the cardinals, so we'll do that. And then we're going to go ahead and set sand. We're going to add it to the white list. We're going to say keep. We'll go with 128. So keep 2 stacks in here. And we're going to throw an upgrade Mark III into that. And then we'll just shift right click and right click, or shift right click, sorry. I always just want to right click it. And you can see that the Mark III actually sends the items a bit faster. And you can see it's intelligent. It's not going to send more than what 2 stacks would be once the items arrive there. It's not going to keep sending the stuff and then it pops out or, has to travel back or anything like that. It's going to stop. So it has sent 2 stacks. You can see we've got plenty of sand, but it's not going to send any more until we need it in here. And then we're going to set up a dirt line. And honestly, I could just have like, in this area here for automation, I could just have, the chests over here, and then they have dispatchers and they link to wherever they need to go. And so if I set up another carpenter like right here that needed sand, in this case, then I could bind this same dispatcher to another inventory, and then I could set it up to nearest first, farthest first, random, round robin, and it would send those items to every linked inventory. Now, like I said, the range isn't super far. It's about maybe 25 blocks or something, somewhere around in there, give or take. Not super far, but it has a lot of control, which is great for a situation like this where I have like a little room for automation, and then I can just have all my inventory sitting here along this wall, and they send the stuff to wherever. Because I have a lot of things like dirt and sand and fertilizer and things like that that are used a lot, within our crafts. Alright, so the dirt line is white, light blue, white. So we'll just set up an ender chest, setting right there, our light blue dye, right there, dispatcher, right there, and then we're going to go ahead and configure this. So dirt, in a whitelist, keep 128 in here, and then this one I guess we'll throw in an upgrade marked 4, so you can see what the max speed upgrade is like. Which the max speed upgrade moves the items pretty fast, and it also moves a stack at a time, if I recall correctly. And let's go ahead and set this recipe up. We'll throw the dirt in there, and then shift right click, and here comes the dirt. And there we go, 2 stacks. Okay, so now we just have to set up our water line, which is, if I recall, that is white, blue, white. Yes, okay. I'm starting to remember some of these. So we'll just put our ender chest setting right there. White, blue, white, and auto output. There we go. It's going to start crafting bog earth. And there we go. That is done. And you can see it's sending the items over as it crafts. It's pumping more items over. Mulch is not currently sending, but it should. Tell you what, this might actually be blocking it. Let's pull that up. Yeah. Okay, the ender tank's blocking it, so I'm going to have to... Let's see, how do I want to do this? I guess I'm just going to put the ender tank on top of it. That'll be fine. And it can pump the water in. It kind of blocks that little bit of the window, but it's not a big deal, I guess. Okay, and then we just have to set up our bog earth line. So I'm going to need two ender chests with black for the bog earth. So let me go get some black dye real quick. Yeah, I think we're probably going to be automating dyes in the next couple episodes. Maybe even next episode, but honestly, next episode I would like to start maybe getting into... I was thinking we might start getting into the environmental tech stuff, because from there it's going to unlock a lot of things for us. I don't know. I don't know for sure. Oh, and I'm actually going to want another servo too. So let me go craft one of those. I think I might upgrade it as well. Maybe second tier servo, just so it'll move the bog earth a little bit quicker. Now, out of curiosity, do we need bog earth for anything else aside from just... I don't think it's actually used in any kind of crafting. No. Most packs don't include that like in any kind of custom recipes, because I don't know, I think it's overlooked a lot. Like the whole like forestry stuff tends to be kind of overlooked, I feel like. So I tend to have a lot of fun in forestry because I don't know, I like forestry a lot personally. I know maybe not everybody shares that same sentiment, but I do quite like forestry. But I mean, forestry is kind of one of those classic mods, and I don't know. I feel like it's actually aged well, compared to mods like IC2, where IC2, you know, if you're familiar with me at all, you know, I feel like IC2 is like one of those just super outdated mods. Forestry, though, I still love it. I don't really feel like it's as outdated feeling, personally. Okay, so we're going to set that up, and we're going to ignore redstone, and it should start pumping over our bog earth. There we go. And it's going to start going into our ender chest. And you can see, here comes more items magically being transferred over to our carpenter. And you can see, I think the speeds are actually good. I think, because the Mark II that's in this is keeping up with our production speed. So, I do need to turn that back so that it keeps crafting. Alright, so there we go. We're producing bog earth. Wonderful. And then it's as simple as just popping over here and setting up our ender chest. This thing needs fertilizer, it needs water, it needs bog earth. So let's go ahead and actually configure this first, since it is sitting on a hopper. I don't want any like random items trying to go places. And we'll pull that up, drop it onto our wooden hopper, and there we go. Which honestly, I feel like the wooden hopper might be a little bit slow for us, but I think once it gets everything laid out, I think it'll be okay. I might upgrade it to a normal hopper. I've gotten so used to, of late, like going for the wooden hoppers, because SevTech hoppers they're not hard to craft, they're just involved. But this pack, I mean, they're pretty easy to craft, so I don't know. I don't need gears and stuff for them, basically. SevTech, I've been like, I'd rather not use a normal hopper. Plus, I know the normal hopper does produce a little bit of lag. Like the wooden hopper's a little bit more like server friendly. But I guess in a single player world, it's not that big of a deal. I hate when it does that though. It breaks up the bog earth. I'm actually going to help speed this up a little bit here, because it's not so bad once it gets everything placed, but getting it placed down at first. And I hate the fact that it waits to place the water. It like pulls up the bog earth, so then you get bog earth in the output when it first sets up the farm. But okay, so there we go. Our farm is set up. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to slowly transform this bog earth. You can see right there at the top left, it says maturity is 0%. Basically, it's going to slowly transform this into peat. You can see that one's at 33% right there. So, we actually covered this stuff on all the mods. We were actually just doing manual farm because I didn't need a ton of it. And this stuff is all within the chunk loader area. So we'll give this just a second to run, and we'll see what happens whenever it finishes running out some of this. It's actually going to change visually, but this thing's going to break it up and produce bog earth pretty quickly. So, but you can look right here and you can see that farming is going to produce peat and dirt. Okay, our first piece of peat just finished up, and it quickly broke it down. And you can see we got peat and dirt right there. So what we're going to do, let me kill this guy real quick. Which actually I may put the helmet back on because I kind of miss it up, but the rest of the stuff I can live without at this point. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up an ender chest, and I guess I'm going to pump this into the... Actually, what we're going to do, let me go make a couple more ender chests, in fact. Because we're going to do a peat line, and then we're going to craft it into bituminous peat. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's go ahead and grab ourselves, let's get a piece of this bog earth. And then let's get some of the peat, because the bog earth is still coming into the system. It shouldn't do it too often, but it is still coming in, and this is eventually going to be filled, so I don't want to rely on pumping items back into this. So we'll keep some in the drawers, whatever comes in overstock, and then, you know, later on, if I want to, I can pump it out. But I mean, it's producing bog earth like crazy fast anyway, so we'll see. But we're going to put our peat just right into there, and our bog earth right into there. And then I'm going to toss a couple storage upgrades in there. So 416 stacks, that's good. And then what we're going to do is... let's see, do I want to make this a specified line? Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to do in our clipboard here. We've got the black, white, white is the peat line. We're going to leave that as black, white, white. And we're just going to connect this straight in. Yeah, we're just going to connect dirt and everything into that. So I said it was black, white, white. Okay, so black, white, white. And then we'll do an item duct right there. Hardened servo. And there we go. So it's going to start pumping the peat, the bog earth, the dirt out into this ender chest. And then we're just going to pop over here and we're going to connect this up. Just right down underneath the floor with all the rest of the ender chests. So right here we have the retriever. Oh, let's do it. We'll just put it right here. So ender chest, black, white, white line that has the peat and everything, and then we'll just connect our item duct in right there, and it's going to start pumping these items out to the drawer controller, or the controller slave. Right now it's requesting wheat and stuff. I'm definitely going to have to speed this thing up because it's not, it's not fast enough. There we go. I don't even know how it got wood, and I don't know. It picks up weird random things sometimes, I've noticed. Okay, so anyways, it's pumping everything out and it's going into the drawer system. And I think that should be good. I do believe. Oh, and we're actually going to need to get back down there. Okay, so we're going to make another line here. And this one is going to be peat crafting. Okay, let's do that. We're going to do white, black, white. And we're going to set up ender chest. And this one's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be set up like right over here, let's say. Yeah, we'll put it right here. And we are going to do, I said it was white, black, white. So there we go. And let me grab, because we're going to be crafting this bituminous peat. So this is like the upgraded version of peat. So let's grab ourselves a piece of peat. Let's grab some propolis, which we should have more than enough of this stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm not actually presently producing propolis because I'm not making honey. I mean, I could get it whenever we start crushing down honey drops to make honey. But the thing is, for our honey production, I wasn't actually planning on doing honey drops. I was planning on doing the dye honeys, which don't produce propolis. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. So let me make another centrifuge. Just really quick. Copper, okay. 2 glass. And we're going to set up a centrifuge that just handles basically crushing down, you know, the standard honeycombs and making propolis and more honey drops, I guess. I mean, we may eventually, you know, crush down honey to make, or like the regular honey drops. But presently I don't have any plan for that because we have so much other types of drops coming in, like the dyes and stuff, that I was planning on doing that instead, because you get honey as well. So we'll just make a propolis focused, I actually had sturdy casings in here. I didn't even realize it. We're just going to make a propolis focused centrifuge is what we're going to do. Okay, I tell you what, let's go ahead, we'll set that up in just a second. We're going to go ahead and set this up, this white, black, white. And what we'll do, I don't think I'm going to have any use for the propolis outside of just this craft, I don't think. Like, if we take a look at the propolis, we can use it to make apiaries pipes, which I don't know that we'll really be using those too much. We can make slime balls with it, which we won't be using that. Genetic filter, maybe. And then we can make glass, but we have a really easy way to make glass. So I think the propolis is mainly just going to be for this crafting, is what we use it for. So what we're going to do is, I'd say what, I'm going to try something here. So we're going to pump over peat, honeycombs, and ash as well. And we're just going to pump over ash blocks, in fact. So right over here, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a dispatcher. We're going to have it setting right there, and we're going to say whitelist, and we're going to send over peat, honeycombs, ash blocks. And then we're going to go ahead and toss in an upgrade to this. And we're going to say keep a stack of each. Okay. And then link that to there. And there we go. It's going to send it over to the ender chest. That's all the peat that we presently have. It's going to send it as it gets more. And I'm going to go ahead and toss those extras into there. Okay, so that's the white, black, white line. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull up, let's set up this ender chest. And we're going to have this one setting, I think it should reach if we put it like right over here. So this is going to be white, black, white. And then over here, we're going to set up our automation for this stuff. Let's see, let's pull up this right here. And let's bring our power up. Like that. And then right here, we're going to put our centrifuge setting right there. And let's go ahead and grab our dispatcher. We'll put this right here. And put our upgrading in. And we're not going to limit this. We're going to go ahead and shift right click and right click. Or shift right click. And you can see it's sending over honeycombs. Okay. And it has stopped. Let me actually limit this, in fact, because I feel like it's going to get a little bit crazy if we don't. Okay, so ash blocks, peat, honeycombs, and 64 of each. Okay, let me see if I can empty this thing out. There we go. Okay, you know what? I don't need a centrifuge. I do. I'm going to have to get a squeezer. The centrifuge, I can get propolis, but I have to use stringy combs, furtive combs, or silky combs. And the only ones I have are rocky combs and standard combs. Which rocky combs do not produce any form of propolis. So we are going to have to use a squeezer for it. which I don't actually mind making an extra centrifuge because we're going to eventually need it anyways. So it's not a big deal because we're going to have lots of combs to be processing in the not so distant future. So we'll set up our squeezer and then we'll bind that over. Okay, and this should set it to whitelist there. And let me change this to send honey drops instead of honeycombs as well. I was looking, I was like, oh yeah, but it was a silky comb or some stringy comb is what I was looking at, and not a standard comb. I'm losing my mind. Okay, and we're going to change this over to honey drops. There we go. It's going to send them over. And you'll notice that it's not sending any other items over, and that is because this can only accept honey drops. It can't accept peat, it can't accept ash blocks, because it can't do anything with that. So we don't have to worry about filtering that. So it's going to start producing honey, and it's going to have a chance to produce propolis. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set up an auto workbench setting right here, another auto workbench setting right here. And in these, let me grab our peat, let me grab some ash. In this one, we're going to put a recipe in that says ash block makes ash. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and just shift right click and bind that. And you'll notice that it sends some ash over, and there we go. There's a stack of ash. Once again, we don't have to filter this because it already filters itself. And then over here, we're going to set up a recipe saying peat, ash, and propolis makes bituminous peat. And we'll toss that into there and shift right click, and you can see that's going to send the peat that it has over to here, and we have 54. That's what we have available at the moment. And it's going to start crafting our first bits of bituminous peat. And ta-da. There we go. Okay, so then all we have to do is we just have to set up item ducts. I'm going to have to go make another servo. But we're going to have to set up an item duct that moves the propolis over. And ignore redstone. And there we go. Send it. Let's go. There we go. Propolis. And then we're going to need to set up another item duct right here that moves the ash. So let me go craft up another servo. I actually really like these dispatchers because it's like the items are just like floating through to wherever they go. But just bear in mind that you can't cover them up. I mean, they can't. It seems like they're not going to be able to transfer through walls or anything like that. And there's no way, to my knowledge, there's no way to increase the distance that they transfer items. So it's like 25 blocks max. That's why we have to move it over, you know, using our ender chest line, and then you know, we can send it to wherever it goes. But it's nice for actually filtering items so that you only have like a limited quantity. So our ender chest can be used for more than just one item, you know, from this point forward, which is nice. That is quite nice. I do quite like that. And there we go. We'll go ahead and set that up, and it should start pulling out the ash and pumping it into our auto workbench. There we go. So now we have bituminous peat automated, and it's going to, you know, as it gets peat, we pretty much always have ash, we pretty much always have honeycombs. It's really just waiting on the peat, and it's going to craft that bituminous peat. And the reason being, we're not actually going to start using bituminous peat until next episode, and we're not going to actually start pumping this honey out and doing anything with it. Let me actually go make a servo real quick, another servo. And we're going to make a line here, and we're going to call it honey in. And we're going to say it is, I've got black on me, so black, white, white is going to be the honey input line. And then we'll just dye that. There we go. And fluid duct right there. Servo right there. Ignore redstone, and there goes the honey. Okay, now I'm going to, between episodes, I'm going to set up a tank for honey. And I'll probably set up a second tank for acid, because I really need to start pumping that stuff up. But this will work for right this second. I mean, I'll be able to make a decent amount of propolis in the process of crafting this. But between episodes, I'm going to set up a tank for honey. I'm going to set up probably another one for acid, like I said. And we're going to start sending the honey over. And the reason I wanted to get this set up, we're not actually, like I said, we're not going to start using the bituminous peat until next episode. Just briefly, we're going to get into it and get it set up. It's not going to take very long at all. It's not going to take much of next episode. But the reason I wanted to get bituminous peat up and going is because if you recall, I said we need to move our lasers over to make more redstone chipsets, right? And if you recall, before we were using the Buildcraft, what was it? Were we using combustion? No, we weren't even using combustion engines, were we? We were using Stirling engines, which were, what, 2 MJ per tick, I think? And I believe combustion can get up to 3 MJ per tick if you're using oil, I think. It's been a while since I've used those. However, fun fact, even though the Buildcraft system does not use RF, if you use a peat-fired engine or any of the forestry engines, it says they generate RF from peat, but they can also produce MJ. And the peat-fired engine with bituminous peat produces 4 MJ per tick. And it actually produces, like a single peat engine will produce a redstone chipset at in a decent time frame. Like, I think a single peat engine is like 2 minutes or something for a redstone chipset, which is a whole lot better than what we were running before. I mean, this single peat-fired engine is almost as powerful as the 3 Stirling engines that we were running before. So it's going to be a major change. It's going to be a major upgrade for our lasers, because like I said, I want to upgrade the speed of that because it's way too slow at the moment. That's why we've been working up to the peat engines. Because as you know, I mean, we're generating plenty of RF really with our current setup, with our tree oil. But I need something that can upgrade the lasers, something that produces MJ, because it was just way too slow. And the nice thing is we're gonna add a few of these peat-fired engines, and we'll probably upgrade to like a quartz or maybe even a golden kinesis pipe, and then just have them run whenever there's something to craft, and it'll be a whole lot faster, like a whole lot faster. This will be a very nice upgrade, and will make making those redstone chipsets a whole lot easier for us. But I have to get the laser room built between episodes. I have to get the tanks set up for honey. I mean, that one's pretty much already filled. But I'll get that stuff set up, and then next episode we'll quickly plug all that stuff up, get it running, and then we'll switch over from forestry. Now, one last thing I want to do this episode before we end out. We've kind of been working on forestry for a bit, and we're kind of coming to an end of this phase of forestry. I mean, we still have more forestry in the future, but this phase of forestry we're just about done with. And so what I want to do, let me actually pop over here, let me grab this trash can that I've got. I don't really use this one that's in this building too much. I don't really use it all that much anymore. I mean, it was mainly just left over from when we were doing bees in the other base. So I'm going to use this. And we're going to pop out something that I've been wanting to get started for a bit, and I think it's time that we get started with it. Right over here, let's find a good spot here. This might possibly move as this area kind of builds out and everything. But let's say right in here, let's actually break all this up. Right in here, we're going to set up a couple apiaries. Now, you can do bee houses, and bee houses are actually more effective for this, but I'm going to use apiaries because I can automate these. So, it's something that I can leave running, which is nice. We're going to do a wooden transport pipe. Let's do wooden engines, right there, right there. This is all pretty standard automation stuff. And we'll go ahead and get these things running. And I'm actually going to dump, I have these Stirling engines that got pulled out from my red backpack. I don't really need those because we're not going to be using Stirling engines anymore. And then we'll do our insert pipes there. And then we'll do cobblestone transport pipe, and then we'll bring this out and do clay pipes, setting right here and right here. That's fine. And then we'll do our trash bin. So anything that cannot go into the apiary will go into the trash bin, basically. And we're just going to toss in our Sandy Princess, Sandy drones. I just need any kind of bee, basically. Will work fine. And I will put a chunk loader over here so that this thing will keep running. But what I want to do is I want to get into tree breeding. And I'm just basically going to cover the basics of it just really, really quick. What we're going to need to do, if we take a look at, let's start with like apple oak. Okay, if you take apple oak saplings and we look in here, tree breeding right here, you can combine it with silver birch, which is just a birch tree. That produces silver lime, 15%. Silver lime and apple oak makes hill cherry, apple oak and red spruce, which is just a spruce tree, makes mundane larch. Apple oak and birch can make white willow. Also silver lime can make white willow. And then white willow can make white poplar. Okay, so we're going to start with like we're going to start with oak, birch, and spruce. I think will be the first three that we start with. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's pop back over here. Let's grab our portable analyzer. We're going to go ahead and just analyze these saplings. So spruce, you'll notice it becomes a red spruce sapling. And these do have stats. I'm not going to worry too much about the stats because bees are nice to worry about the stats because you need those materials coming in. The saplings, I don't tend to worry too much about the stats simply because you tend to, I mean, if you just automate any kind of wood, you have more than enough of that wood like in no time. Is generally how it works. So, man, these guys are like coming from miles. I'm going to have to put that headpiece on because this is going to get so annoying. Like so fast. Alright, let's analyze this. There's an apple oak and then there's a silver birch. And then what we'll do is we're just going to plant these down. And I am going to put, technically I can just grow these on this ground, I guess. Alright, so we'll put down the apple oak. And I brought some fertilizer with us so we can grow this a little bit faster. So there we go. There's apple oak, and it's got apple oak leaves. You can see it actually grows fruit. You can see it shows it's unripe at the moment. These will actually grow apples. But that's not what we want them for. And then we'll put down the birch, just kind of around these apiaries. And then our spruce, we'll put it setting, you know, just right over here. Will be fine. We'll put it like right over here. Now, like I said, look at that. It's a massive tree. Like I said, you can use bee houses. If you don't mind it being a manual process, you can use them. The bee houses do get a boost to fertilization, you know, bee cross-pollination. They get a boost to pollination, but you can't really automate bee houses. So apiaries are just better. Oh, I need to do flowers. Whoops. Whoops, these aren't even running at the moment. But actually, while we're popping over here, there's a couple other things that we're going to want to make for this process. So the first thing I want to make is a grafter. We could upgrade, before too long, we'll upgrade to those. Actually, we'll do, let's see, proven grafters you can only get really from villager trading and chests, right? Yeah. But we're going to go with mana steel. They have 16 uses as opposed to 10. And honestly, I have easier access to mana steel than I do bronze. I mean, bronze isn't hard to get, but I actually have to craft it. Whereas, I'm actually going to make 2 of these, I think. Whereas mana steel, I can just dump steel into a mana pool. Wait, what? That's not what I want. I don't want a mana steel builder's wand. Okay, so in that case, let's pop up here to the work table. And we'll dump that into there. That, and we're going to say we want the mana steel grafter specifically. So there we go. We'll go ahead and lock that. We'll go ahead and lock that recipe in. Okay, so there's our mana steel grafters. Anytime you have a conflict like that, forestry work tables are great for fixing that. And then we are also going to want, oh, I can never remember the name of it. The glasses. Let me see. Let me do at forestry. Spectacles. So bronze and 2 glass panes, which it looks like I'm out of glass panes, so I'm just going to have to make a couple here. There we go. And you have to wear these to be able to see pollinated leaves. So let me go sleep. Oh, and I almost forgot we're going to need flowers too. Let's grab a poppy. Hey, poppy. Oh my gosh, all these mobs attacking me. It's going to drive me insane. It's going to drive me absolutely insane. Alright, so let's put this down, and these bees should start working. There we go. They are running. And basically what's going to happen is they're going to slowly pollinate the leaves. And we're only going to be able to see the leaves that are pollinated when we're wearing the spectacles. Now it's going to take a while before we actually probably see any pollinated leaves. So I'm going to cut for a bit. I'm going to leave this running, and I'm just going to edit some footage while I wait. I'm just going to kind of, if I go AFK, I tend to hover up here now, since the mobs come from miles and miles to attack me. If I just hover up here, I seem to be safe. So, I think our little town is growing, though. Like, look at this. Like we can see our house off there in the distance. And our little like farm area is like starting to come together a little bit. I mean, it's going to span all the way back there, but it's starting to come together. But anyways, I'll be back here in just a minute once I give this a little bit of time to run. Okay, I've left this running for a while, and I actually went ahead and set up 2 little bee houses. I mean, they have longer lifespans in here anyways, so I figured, I'll throw that there because it does speed up the production, or the pollination, a decent amount. So, gosh. Just non-stop onslaught. But you can see right here, whenever I'm wearing the spectacles, if I take these off, you can see those little, like, different colored leaves are gone. Throw the spectacles back on and we can see them. And if you're wearing the spectacles, you can see up at the top left, it says pollinated. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for pollinated leaves. So we're going to take our grafters, and we're just going to break these. There we go. And we're going to get some saplings. In this one, we got a red spruce sapling, which we don't really want that. We have red spruce. This one, apple oak. This one, another red spruce. Over here we've got some more pollinated leaves, silver birch, another silver birch sapling. Let's see about this one, another silver birch sapling with matching stats. We've got a red spruce sapling, red spruce sapling. There's actually one right underneath this. And by the way, if you use your grafter on trees, you're going to get a better chance of getting saplings too. So if you want saplings and you have like a tree that's a little bit harder to get saplings from, you can use the grafters for that. Another silver birch. Another silver birch. And then another silver birch. Okay. So far we haven't gotten any new tree types. But they're only about a 10% chance, so I had this running for about 30 minutes. I was only running it for about 5 minutes with the bee houses. You know, they haven't went down hardly at all. And in the, like, 25 minutes without the 2 bee houses, it only pollinated 2 leaves. I threw the bee houses up, and you can see we had, like, 8 or 9 leaves, right? So it's a big difference. The bee houses are definitely worth running. Even though they can't be automated, they're still very, very powerful. But, of course, you could also just set up a bunch of bees that are automated, and, you know, it kind of balance out. But bee houses are pretty effective for it. So I do tend to like those, but they are kind of manual. You know, you're going to have to go back over, and you're going to have to reset them up every so often. And you can also scan these. I mean, if they're not stacking, it means they're different. So this red spruce sapling, you can see its height. It has small from the silver birch. This one here is small average. And it kind of works like bees. You know, you can breed for specific stats if you so desire. I usually don't worry too much about it because I'm mainly after just the wood types, more so than like the perfect tree. But we might make some like super trees. We'll see. But actually, I'm going to toss all these in the trash because I don't need these. Right now I'm just looking for like new trees at the moment. But anyways, as you break those leaves, eventually you'll find, you know, the new saplings that we talked about. You know, basically it works like bees, except for you just put the trees in the vicinity of the apiary, and it depends on the territory size as to how far out the bees are actually going to check for leaves. It may take a while, but eventually you'll get new wood types. Then you can breed into new wood types. And there's actually a ton of really great wood within it. Forestry adds all of these, and you can actually get like special nuts and stuff that we're going to be using for making mass amounts of seed oil. But anyways, I want to start getting into like all those new types of wood so that we have those planks available for building. You know, all these different wood types up through here. There's some really nice ones that I want to get access to. So anyways, that's another thing I'm going to be working on kind of behind the scenes. I will say that we'll probably end up building out a little bit nicer of an area before too long. You know, kind of as I build this little like agriculture type area back, you know, I'll do something a little bit nicer for our tree breeding. But it's something that I kind of wanted to get started, show you guys the basics. Like I said, there's stats that you can upgrade with them. I don't know how much I'll worry about those. I just want the wood types and the trees for decor and stuff like that. But, also, one thing I want to announce before I end out the episode, because I had mentioned that this build was kind of loosely, not so loosely, I don't know, based off of a building from another game, and you know, I wanted to not mention it. So if anybody had a a guess, an accurate guess, or a correct guess as to what the structure is. Give you guys time to guess, but nobody has guessed it. I know KC knows what it is because I told him in private message on Discord, but it's actually loosely, not so loosely, based off of the Cauldron Lake Lodge from Alan Wake, in fact. I will say that the original layout that I had was a little bit closer to the actual design, with the way that I had it like lining up with the front and everything. It was a little bit more accurate, but then I kind of pushed everything back and made some adjustments that fit my design a little bit better. But that's actually the design that I was basing it off of loosely. Loosely, not so loosely, is the Cauldron Lake Lodge. And Alan Wake's one of those games I just love the architecture. You know, it's all that like Maine style architecture, and I don't know, I quite like it. I quite like it a lot. So that's the design, and I mean, I have deviated some from the the original design, but for the most part, like the bones are still there. So even the little courtyard in the front is kind of similar to that building, and then the little section that comes out there and whatnot. And really quickly, here's an actual picture from the game Alan Wake of the Cauldron Lake Lodge. So if you're curious to see it, that's what it looks like. So just wanted to show it to you guys. Not an exact replica, but a change to the build that fits my needs and everything. So, and I think it looks. I'm really happy with the progress so far, and I can't wait to get back on this build. So I just wanted to take a break from it because I spent like nearly a week working on that. I want to take a short break from it to work on this section. I still have to come through and do a little bit of decorating and stuff through here, but I kind of wanted to start bringing this area back because we've been working in this area and we're going to be working in this area, on and off for a bit. So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so next episode when we come back, I'm going to do a bit of building between episodes. I'm going to get our little laser room set up, our couple more tanks set up over there, and whenever we come back, we're going to be setting up our lasers with our new peat-fired engines. Super exciting because it's going to be massive power output compared to those little Stirling engines that we had before. So we'll get that up and going so that we can start producing redstone chipsets again, and then after that, we're probably going to take a break from forestry. We're going to detour. We're not going to get straight back into bees with gendustry and stuff like that. We're not going to get straight back into that just yet. Instead, we're going to take a detour, and we're probably going to... I was debating between getting into this and actually start automating some things, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to start... instead, we're going to start into environmental tech a little bit. Get our resource miners up and going, and then after that, we can actually start into refined storage pretty soon. So I'd like to go ahead and get that up and going so we can start generating those materials because they do take a little while to stockpile. Want to go ahead and start that up next episode, and then we'll see, where the episode takes us. So, but that's my current plans for right now. I mean, it could change. We'll see. But that's my plans going forward. And I'll let you guys know if I get some new saplings. Chances are, let's actually pop over there just really quick before we say goodbye. Just to see, because this may have spread a little bit, and I kind of wanted to get like a new tree. This one right here. Sometimes it's actually kind of hard, even with the spectacles. It's kind of hard to spot these pollinated leaves, but you kind of see it looks like fruit. Even if you're not wearing the spectacles, you can actually see. Kind of looks like fruit right there. But the spectacles just make it a lot easier. So, oh, look at that, mundane larch. Oops. Okay, so we got our very first tree, and this one will actually breed to make sugar maple, bull pine, and coast sequoias, mainly from red spruce. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to plant these down because I'm going to want to build up a stockpile of the saplings before I start moving them into breeding, and that's just so that if you just plant the tree down, all the leaves could get devoured, and you may not actually have any mundane larch saplings. I just like to keep some on hand, so that I always have some to fall back on. There we go, and that's what the mundane larch wood looks like. I'm actually kind of happy that we got that one. in truth, because it's actually a really good looking wood. So let's go ahead and cut that down. There we go. And there we go. There's some saplings. Great. Okay, so we got 4 saplings. And if we scan these, you can see that they are low saplings. So they're not going to give a whole lot of saplings. Matures in an average speed. Height is average. And then it's kind of bottom tier. We will probably end up upgrading some of these. We'll see. But right now I'm not too worried about it. But that means I can move the mundane larch. I can move it over here and have it start breeding with some of these trees, and maybe start getting like some bull pine and stuff like that. So I see another one here that has bred. I swear these guys just come for miles. Like, they literally, their aggro range is like far enough that they can spawn and aggro from like, look at this. It's just like a non-stop onslaught. It's ridiculous. Alright, I'm going to have to put those goggles back on. This one is just another apple oak. But anyways, I'm really happy that we got the mundane larch though, because I do want that one for decor. I love the color. It's a very nice looking color, I think. But I'm going to continue breeding with those and trying to get us just some new wood types, you know. Not really using this for any kind of like automation or anything like that, but I do want access to all the different types of wood. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And if you guys have any questions about the stuff that we covered today, do let me know down in the comments, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. You can really tell the difference in the Misty world when we were wearing the goggles and now that we're not. Like, the difference in just the environment and how much aggro you get, like in this dimension. But anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.